The Corpse Bride, the chilling tale of Carl Tanzler. Sometimes, love knows no bounds. And sometimes, it crosses into truly disturbing territory. Today, we're diving into the eerie story of Carl Tanzler, a man whose obsession with love led him to do the unthinkable. Welcome to Strange Moments in Time. Our story begins in the early 1930s in Key West, Florida. Carl Tanzler was a radiologist at the Marine Hospital, where he treated patients suffering from tuberculosis. But Carl wasn't your average doctor, he believed in something unusual. For years, Carl had claimed he had visions of a dark-haired, exotic beauty, who he believed was his one true love. Then, one day, she appeared. Elena Hoyos, a beautiful young Cuban-American woman, was admitted as Carl's patient. He was certain she was the woman from his visions, the one he was destined to love. But Elena was gravely ill, and despite Carl's care and even unconventional treatments, she died at just 21 years old. Most people would mourn and move on. But Carl Tanzler, he didn't. He couldn't. Overcome by grief and obsession, he visited Elena's grave regularly, bringing flowers and talking to her as though she were still alive. But soon, that wasn't enough. One night, nearly 2 years after her death, Carl made a decision that would shock the world. He crept into the cemetery, dug up Elena's body, and took her home. But his work didn't stop there. Carl preserved Elena's remains as best he could, using plaster, wax, and even glass eyes to reconstruct her face. He replaced her decaying skin with silk and cloth soaked in wax. He filled her body with rags to keep her shape, sprayed her with perfumes to mask the smell, and dressed her in fine clothes. For 7 years, Carl lived with Elena's body, treating her as his bride. He danced with her, spoke to her, and slept beside her. It wasn't until 1940 that the locals noticed something strange. Rumors spread that Carl was living with a life-size doll, and finally, Elena's family called the police. When they entered Carl's home, they made the horrifying discovery: Carl's bride was Elena's preserved corpse. Carl was arrested, but shockingly, he faced no punishment. Grave robbing wasn't considered a serious offense, and many people, strangely, felt sympathy for him, seeing him as a lovesick man rather than a criminal. Elena's body was finally returned to her family and reburied in an unmarked grave. But Carl continued to proclaim his love for her until his death, still holding on to the delusion that one day they would be together. So, was Carl Tanzler a man driven by undying love, or was he haunted by obsession? His story challenges our idea of love, reminding us that there's a line between devotion and obsession, a line that Carl Tanzler tragically crossed. What do you think about Carl's story? Was it love, madness, or something darker? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time on Strange Moments in Time for more disturbing tales from history.